After the Galactic Council took a human child's life, Earth unleashed its ancient armada. The galaxy was quiet, or at least it seemed quiet. In the high towers of the Council world, far above the swirling blue and green clouds of Orion Prime, dozens of alien leaders gathered in a crystal chamber. The room was enormous, stretching hundreds of meters across, with light reflecting in rainbow colors from the walls. Every species there was different. Some had 4 arms, some had wings, and some looked almost like humans. They had gathered to discuss the humans, who were now exploring the stars faster than anyone had expected. Daniel Brooks, the human ambassador, stood near the center of the chamber. He was tall and lean, wearing a simple blue suit that marked him as Earth's representative. Beside him, Lisa Grant, the cultural envoy, held her son Noah's hand. Noah was only 12 years old. He had wide brown eyes and soft hair, and he was curious about everything. Lisa had brought him to show the council that humans were not just soldiers or workers. They were families, children, and dreamers too. She hoped it would help the aliens see that humans deserved respect, not suspicion. "Ambassador Brooks," a voice called. It was harsh and crackling, almost like static. A counselor from the Thalnari species floated slightly above the ground. The Thalnari had long, thin limbs, shiny green scales, and eyes that glowed faintly. "Humans move too fast. You expand without care. You build weapons. You claim systems that do not belong to you." Daniel took a deep breath. "Counselor Zyril," he said calmly, "humanity explores because we are curious. We do not take what belongs to anyone else. We have no desire to fight. We ask only to be allowed to grow as every other species does." The council chamber was quiet for a moment. The Thalnari hissed, and some of the smaller species whispered to one another. Not everyone trusted the humans, not yet. Daniel noticed the tension, but he kept his calm. He had studied council politics for years. He knew that showing fear would only make things worse. Noah tugged lightly at his mother's hand. "Mom, why are they so angry?" he asked, his voice small. Lisa smiled at him, though her lips were tight. "They are just afraid," she said softly. "Some species fear humans because they are new and strong. But we can show them we are careful and kind." Noah nodded. He liked the stars and the ships and the idea of traveling to other planets. But now, looking at the strange creatures who glared down at him, he felt small. The council debated. Words in strange languages echoed across the chamber. Daniel listened carefully. Every argument, every accusation was meant to weaken his position. But he had his own plan. He had brought documents, maps, and videos showing human exploration, human science, and human care for life. If he could present them calmly, he might earn some respect. Lisa squeezed Noah's hand. "Stay close," she whispered. The debate grew louder. Counselor Zyril's voice rose, a shrill sound that made the walls vibrate slightly. "They will take everything. Humanity cannot be trusted. They think themselves strong, but strength without discipline brings war." Daniel nodded. "Strength without discipline is dangerous, yes," he said. "But humanity is disciplined. We are not perfect, but we do not destroy without reason. We wish to work with the council, not against it." Some of the other counselors murmured in agreement. A few looked at Daniel with interest, their heads tilting as if trying to see inside his mind. Others still frowned, unconvinced. Lisa looked at her son and smiled. "See," she said. "Some of them are listening. That is good." Noah smiled faintly. He liked that some of the aliens seemed curious about humans instead of angry. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the chamber. Red lights flashed, bathing the room in color. Daniel and Lisa turned toward the source. Outside, in the observation balcony, a crowd of aliens had gathered. Something was happening, something dangerous. "Security breach," a robotic voice announced. It was loud and metallic, echoing off the crystal walls. Daniel's heart beat faster. "Everyone stay calm," he shouted, though he felt panic rising in his chest. "Counselors, everyone stay calm, move back from the balcony." Lisa pulled Noah close to her, shielding him instinctively. "Daniel, what is it?" she asked, her voice shaking. Before Daniel could answer, a sudden explosion rocked the chamber. The floor trembled beneath them. Smoke and dust filled the air. Some of the counselors screamed. Daniel ducked, pulling Lisa and Noah down. The smell of burning metal and alien polymers burned in his nose. When the smoke cleared, Daniel's eyes searched for Noah. Noah was gone. "Noah!" Lisa screamed, her voice breaking. She ran toward the edge of the chamber, ignoring the alarms and the chaos. Daniel followed, pushing aside smaller aliens and dodging fallen debris. On the balcony, the crowd had thinned. There was a gap in the railing where something had struck. Daniel's stomach sank. He saw Noah lying on the cold, crystalline floor. The boy was still. His small body was surrounded by a faint pool of red that looked unreal against the glowing floor. Daniel fell to his knees beside him. Lisa reached him moments later, screaming again, shaking her son. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. "Lisa, he's gone," he said quietly. His voice was calm, but inside his chest felt like it had been crushed. Tears ran down Lisa's cheeks as she cradled Noah. The council chamber was silent, every alien staring at the tragedy. Some covered their faces, some whispered in fear. No one had expected this. A human child dead inside the council chamber. It was unthinkable. The councilors gathered quickly. Zyril hissed again, but this time it was quieter, almost nervous. "It was an accident," the Thalnari said, but no one believed it. Rumors had already begun to spread that the Thalnari extremists had orchestrated the attack. Daniel ignored the councilors. All he could do was kneel beside Lisa, feeling helpless. Hours later, the transmission reached Earth. The President, Henry Cole, watched the footage in silence. He had seen many things in his years, but the image of Noah Grant, a human child dead on an alien floor, shook him deeply. Beside him stood Admiral Grace Turner, commander of Earth's Deep Space Fleet. Her face was hard and set. She rarely showed emotion, but her fists were clenched tightly. Henry turned to her. "We need answers," he said quietly. "We need justice." Grace nodded. "And if we don't get it?" she asked. Her voice was low, almost a growl. Henry looked at the screens again, seeing Noah's lifeless body. He knew the answer without speaking. Earth had been patient for centuries, obeying council rules, waiting for diplomacy to work. But now the patience was gone. Something buried deep inside humanity was awakening. Back on Orion Prime, Daniel and Lisa were escorted away by human security. Daniel felt the weight of the moment crushing him. Humanity had been seen as small, weak, and naive. They had ignored threats. Now the galaxy would see a different side, the side that could not be ignored. The side that could respond. Lisa held Noah's favorite small metal star in her hand, twisting it tightly. Daniel noticed it. "We will not let this go," he said quietly. "He will not have died in vain." Outside, the other counselors were arguing. Some blamed the Thalnari. Some blamed the humans. Chaos spread quickly. The security teams tried to maintain order, but the chamber was no longer a place for calm discussion. It had become a place for grief and suspicion. Daniel and Lisa were taken to a secure room. Lisa sat quietly, holding Noah's star. Daniel tried to think. He needed a plan. The council could not be allowed to simply brush this aside. Humanity could not let their child be killed without consequences. The galaxy would hear the truth, and the galaxy would understand human strength. Admiral Grace Turner activated the secure line to Daniel. "Are you ready for orders?" she asked. Daniel's voice was steady. "Yes, whatever it takes." Henry Cole entered the room. "This is no longer just a council matter," he said. "This is a human matter." And humanity does not forget. For the first time in centuries, Earth's hidden fleet stirred. Deep underground, in vaults long forgotten, massive warships shifted on their launch pads. Ships built with technology lost to time and hidden from the galaxy for fear of what humans could do. The Armada was old, yes, but deadly. Powerful beyond the understanding of most species. And now, angered by the death of a single human child, it was waking. In the council chamber, the aliens were still arguing. Daniel looked out of the window at the stars. He could see the fleets of other species in orbit. Some were armed, some were watching. None knew what was coming. Lisa whispered to him, tears still flowing. "Do you think they will stop us?" she asked. Daniel looked at her. "They have no idea what humans are capable of," he said, "and they are about to find out." The stars outside glimmered, silent witnesses to the rising storm. Humanity had been patient, cautious, and careful. But patience had a limit. Justice, they understood, required action. And Daniel knew deep in his heart that the galaxy was about to see something it had never seen before. A fury that was precise, powerful, and unstoppable. Not blind, not cruel, but human. The council had taken a human child's life, and Earth would respond. Deep beneath the Nevada desert, the Earth shook quietly. Not like an earthquake, but in a steady, controlled way. Hidden in massive tunnels, long abandoned by the public, lay a secret that only a few people knew about. For centuries, humans had built ships that no one else in the galaxy could match. They were ancient, yes, but powerful. They were designed to defend humanity from threats no one could imagine. Admiral Grace Turner stood on a high observation deck inside the main control room of the vault. Her uniform was crisp and her posture was strict, but her eyes betrayed a mix of excitement and determination. "Begin activation sequence," she ordered. Engineers and officers worked quickly. Lights blinked on panels, machines hummed, and massive doors started to slide open. In the darkness of the underground cavern, enormous shapes were revealed. The ships were taller than skyscrapers, sleek and black with sharp edges and glowing cores. Their engines were silent now, but soon they would roar to life. Captain Ethan Clark walked beside Grace. He was a tall man with dark hair and a steady gaze. He had been chosen to command the flagship of the Armada, Liberty Dawn. The ship had been built long before humans even dreamed of interstellar travel. Now it would rise again, not as a relic, but as a weapon, a warning, and a protector. "These ships, they are incredible," Ethan said, his voice low. He had seen advanced human ships before, but nothing like this. Every hull was reinforced with an alloy stronger than anything the galaxy knew. Every system was designed to fight without mercy and to protect without fail. Grace nodded. They were built to fight the impossible, and now Daniel's warning to the Council makes them necessary. "Humanity will not suffer the death of one of our children in silence." Ethan swallowed hard. He was not eager for war. He had trained for it, yes, but he hoped it would never come. But now, with Noah Grant gone, there was no hope for peaceful solutions. The Council had failed humanity. In another section of the vault, Commander Maya Ross oversaw the activation of Atlas Horizon, a massive carrier ship. Her hair was tied back, and her hands moved quickly across a holographic control panel. She was in charge of deploying the smaller strike ships and coordinating electronic warfare. "All systems check," she said firmly. "Weapons online, shields at maximum, engines standing by." Deep inside the command center, analysts worked to retrieve intelligence from decades ago. Every record of alien movements, fleet positions, and council politics was uploaded to the Armada's mainframe. Humans had learned patience, and patience now would turn into power. President Henry Cole entered the vault. His face was serious. He rarely left the surface, but now he wanted to see the Armada himself. Standing in front of the ships, he could feel the weight of history. These ships were not just machines, they were symbols. Symbols of human strength, of determination, and of a warning that could not be ignored. He turned to Grace. "Are we ready?" he asked. Grace looked at the glowing ships. "The Armada is ready, but this is not a game. The galaxy will see what happens when humans are pushed too far." "Then we do it," Henry said, his voice steady. "For Noah, for every human who has been treated as weak, for humanity itself." Grace gave a sharp nod. She turned to the officers. "Launch prep. We leave in 1 hour." All crews to stations. Liberty Dawn and Atlas Horizon take lead. The rest follow formation Delta II. The crews moved quickly. Humans had trained for years in simulations, preparing for scenarios that seemed impossible. Now the simulations became reality. Each person knew their role, their path, and their responsibility. There was no hesitation, no fear, only determination. Ethan Clark walked through the corridors of Liberty Dawn. The walls were cold metal, but the ship seemed alive. Lights pulsed in rhythm with the hum of the core. As he entered the bridge, he saw his crew already at their stations. They were young, trained, and focused. He nodded to them. "All right," he said. "We know what we are here for. No one dies without reason. We strike with precision, we protect civilians, and we show the galaxy that humanity cannot be ignored." Maya Ross's voice came over the comm. "Liberty Dawn, all systems go. Atlas Horizon in position. The Armada moves as one." Grace Turner watched the main screen. It showed the Armada rising from the desert vault. Massive landing bays opened, and the ships lifted into the sky, their engines leaving trails of blue energy. The ground shook as the fleet rose, silent witnesses watching from miles away. Then one by one the ships folded space and disappeared from Earth's orbit. They reappeared at the edge of Council space just outside Thalnari territory. The stars looked different here. Some were older, dimmer, and some shone too brightly. But the humans did not care. They had a mission. Ethan Clark looked at the scanners. "Enemy sensors are online. They are detecting us." Maya Ross smiled faintly. "Let them. They think they know what humanity is. Soon they will learn." The Council worlds had no idea what was coming. Most species assumed that humans were small, weak, and slow. That assumption had cost them. The first target was not a planet. It was a fleet. A group of Thalnari warships patrolled the border systems, thinking they were in control. The humans approached silently, almost invisible to alien sensors. Then, with perfect timing, the armada struck. Precision beams disabled engines and weapons without destroying the ships. Aliens scrambled to understand what was happening. Their fleets were trapped, unable to move, unable to fight. Some tried to flee, but the humans were faster, smarter, and more precise. Captain Ethan Clark guided Liberty Dawn through the fleet. His crew moved with efficiency and calm. They were not destroying unnecessarily. They were sending a message. Humanity could end fleets, but humanity did not kill without reason. Meanwhile, Commander Maya Ross coordinated electronic warfare. Alien systems were hacked, communications jammed, and surveillance networks blinded. The Council watched in confusion. How could humans have so much power? Daniel Brooks sent a secure message to the Council chambers. His voice was calm but firm. "We have come to hold the Council accountable. The child you allowed to die, Noah Grant, has forced our hand. Surrender those responsible. Allow a full human investigation. Fail, and the consequences will escalate." The Council murmured. Some were terrified. Others were angry. None expected the humans to act so quickly, so decisively. In orbit around Orion Prime, the Thalnari extremists attempted to regroup. Varath Kor, their leader, shouted orders to his fleet. "Attack! Destroy the humans!" But the humans were ready. Liberty Dawn launched strike craft, each small but fast and deadly. They disabled ships with surgical precision. The Armada demonstrated that it could destroy entire fleets without harming civilians. Maya Ross's voice echoed across comms. "All hostile targets disabled. Non-combatants are unharmed. Humans do not kill the innocent." The message spread quickly. Across the galaxy, Council worlds began to whisper. Humanity had power, yes, but it had restraint. That combination was frightening. No species had ever shown such discipline. Back in the control room, Admiral Grace Turner watched the progress. She knew this was only the beginning. The Council would not give up easily, but humanity had a message, and it was clear. The stars themselves would remember what had happened. Daniel Brooks stood beside Grace. He thought of Lisa and Noah. The child's life had been taken, but now his death could save countless others. "They will listen," Daniel said quietly. Grace nodded. "They will learn, they will fear, but they will also respect us. Humanity is no longer a species to be underestimated." As the Armada moved deeper into Council space, Earth's fleets remained in formation, visible but careful. Every ship sent a silent signal. Humanity watches, humanity remembers, humanity strikes only when necessary. In a hidden corner of the Council chamber, a few counselors whispered to each other. "The humans, they have grown stronger than we knew," one said, "and now they will not stop." Varath Kor, furious, slammed his clawed hands on a console. "They cannot be human, they are machines." They will die, but he underestimated humanity. Humans were not machines. They were clever, disciplined, and willing to use their strength to protect their own. And now the ancient Armada had awakened. The first lesson had been taught. Alien fleets had been disabled without civilian loss. Precision, planning, and human strategy had triumphed over arrogance and complacency. The galaxy began to realize that Earth was no longer a minor player. It was a force. High above the stars, the human Armada paused, forming a perfect formation. Liberty Dawn, Atlas Horizon, and the other massive ships glowed softly in the starlight. They were ready for anything, but they waited. The message had been sent. President Henry Cole spoke over secure comms to the fleet. "Humanity moves not out of anger alone. We move for justice. We move to remind the galaxy that we will protect our own. We do not forget, and we do not forgive those who harm our children." Grace Turner's voice was calm, steady, and full of authority. "The Armada will hold. We wait for Council response. But know this, any further attacks will meet the full force of Earth's power. Humanity is ready." Ethan Clark looked out the viewport of Liberty Dawn. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions. He could see the distant blue glow of Council worlds. "We are not here to destroy," he whispered to his crew. "We are here to show what humans can do, and they will remember it." The Armada hung in space like a silent shadow, waiting, watching. Across the Council worlds, leaders whispered, rumors spread, and fear grew. Humans had awakened an ancient power, and the galaxy could no longer ignore them. The revenge had not yet begun in full. But the first step had been taken. The humans had shown their strength, their discipline, and their resolve. The galaxy had learned that they could not hurt a human child without facing consequences. And deep in the minds of those watching, a single truth began to take root. Humanity was coming. Humanity would not forgive. Humanity would not stop. And the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The human armada moved silently through the dark void of space. The stars stretched endlessly around them, distant lights that seemed peaceful, but beneath that calm was a storm. Earth's fleet had awakened, and every ship was ready to act. Captain Ethan Clark stood on the bridge of Liberty Dawn. His hands rested lightly on the console as he watched the displays. "Sensors show multiple Thalnari fleets in the outer systems," he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "They are moving to intercept us." Commander Maya Ross's voice came over comms. "Ethan, the ships are trying to regroup, but they are scattered. I can blind their sensors and communications. We will control the battle before it begins." Ethan nodded. "Do it. We strike only where necessary. Civilian targets are off limits. We send a message, not a warning of slaughter." The first encounter happened near a mining colony on the edge of Thalnari territory. The aliens had been sending patrols to control the system. They did not expect humans to arrive so suddenly. The humans moved in silence. Liberty Dawn and Atlas Horizon led the fleet, while smaller strike craft followed in formation. The Thalnari ships detected movement, but it was too late. The humans had already disabled their navigation systems. Engines cut, weapons offline, and communications jammed. The alien ships floated helpless in space. One of the Thalnari commanders shouted orders to fire, but the weapons would not respond. Panic spread across the alien fleet. The humans had precision control over the systems, able to disable without destroying. It was terrifying. Ethan guided Liberty Dawn closer. "Focus on immobilizing them. No destruction unless absolutely necessary." Maya nodded. "All electronic attacks deployed." "They can neither move nor communicate outside the fleet. Civilian stations remain untouched." The humans moved with efficiency, surgical precision that the aliens had never seen. One by one, the Thalnari ships surrendered or were disabled. The human fleet never fired a single missile at a civilian target. Every action was controlled. Every strike was purposeful. Across the galaxy, news of the Armada spread quickly. Council worlds had never seen humans act with such intelligence, restraint, and power all at once. Rumors began to circulate. Earth had technology hidden for centuries, and now it had awakened. Some counselors whispered that humans were no longer to be underestimated. Daniel Brooks sent another message to the council chamber. His tone was calm, almost formal. "We come not to destroy, but to hold accountable. Surrender the Thalnari extremists who allowed the death of Noah Grant. Allow a full human investigation into your council's security. Fail, and humanity will escalate." Vareth Kor, leader of the Thalnari extremists, slammed his clawed hands on the command console. "They will die," he shouted. "Send every ship, destroy the humans before they take the council's worlds." But the humans were ready. Liberty Dawn launched its strike craft. The ships moved like predators through space. They disabled engines, cut power systems, and jammed communications. Each move was precise. Ships fell silent, floating in the dark like disabled animals. Maya Ross monitored the electronic attacks from Atlas Horizon. "They cannot escape," she said. "We control every movement. Civilian stations remain unharmed. The message is clear. We can destroy fleets, but we choose not to." Ethan looked at the stars and thought of Noah Grant. The boy's death had awakened this armada. It had reminded humanity of what it could do when provoked. And now the aliens would see. In the council chamber, chaos erupted. Some species tried to negotiate. Others panicked. No one knew how to respond to a force so powerful, disciplined, and restrained at the same time. Daniel Brooks continued his work, presenting evidence of corruption and negligence in the council's security systems. Video footage, communications logs, and testimony from council personnel showed that the child's death had not been accidental. Lisa Grant, still grieving, addressed the chamber through secure comms. Her voice was calm but firm. "My son is dead because the council allowed this to happen. I do not seek revenge. I seek justice. If the council cannot provide it, humanity will act to protect our own. Let this be the last time a child suffers because of your failures." Vareth Kor seethed in anger. Humans are monsters. They will not forgive. They will destroy us all. Ethan guided Liberty Dawn toward the next fleet. The humans did not fire at populated worlds. Instead, they disabled the Thalnari warships that tried to protect the colonies. Systems went dark, engines stopped, and weapons were rendered useless. The aliens could not flee. They could not fight. The message was clear. Humanity could end entire fleets, but it did not. Humanity could destroy cities, but it did not. They had power, but they had control. Across the galaxy, whispers turned into fear. Some species who had doubted humans began to wonder if it was time to reconsider their alliances. Earth was no longer weak. Earth was no longer naive. Earth had awakened a hidden power that could not be ignored. Back on Liberty Dawn, Ethan spoke to his crew. We fight only when necessary. We strike only with purpose. Every action we take is a lesson. Humanity has awakened. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Maya Ross's voice came over comms again. Liberty Dawn, sensors detect rogue Thalnari ships attempting a desperate attack. They are trying to flee, but we control their systems. They cannot escape. Ethan nodded. Prepare to disable engines and weapons. Civilian stations remain untouched. Move carefully. We are teaching, not killing. The rogue ships were swiftly disabled. No civilians were harmed. The aliens struggled to comprehend the precision and restraint of the humans. They had expected rage, anger, and destruction. Instead, they saw control, strategy, and patience. Daniel Brooks continued his work with the Council. Evidence of negligence, corruption, and extremism was laid bare. The Council could no longer ignore human power, human intelligence, or human resolve. Lisa Grant stood beside him, her hand on Noah's metal star. We act to protect our own, she said softly. Nothing else matters. We will not allow another child to die because the Council fails. Vareth Kor grew more desperate. They cannot be stopped. They will destroy every fleet that opposes them. But the humans were careful. They showed strength, but they did not cross the line unless forced. Every disabled ship, every blocked communication, every controlled fleet was proof of humanity's power and restraint. In the outer systems, smaller species who had feared the Thalnari began to speak with the humans. They saw that Earth did not act recklessly. They saw that humans could protect without destroying. Alliances began to form quietly as species realized that humanity was a force that could not be ignored. Ethan Clarke looked at the stars. The galaxy was larger than anyone could imagine, but every move made by the humans now had meaning. Every fleet disabled, every communication blocked was a warning. Humanity would act when provoked, and the galaxy could not escape the lesson. Meanwhile, Maya Ross coordinated attacks on communications arrays. Alien fleets could not call for reinforcements. Their messages were blocked, their fleets disorganized. Humanity moved like a single mind, precise and efficient. Grace Turner watched the battle from orbit around a distant system. She knew the Council would now be forced to respond. Humanity had sent its message. It had shown power, strategy, and discipline. The galaxy had no choice but to acknowledge it. President Henry Cole spoke through secure comms. We have acted with precision. We have acted with care. The Council must now respond. We will wait, but humanity will not be patient forever. Justice will come, and we are ready to deliver it. On Orion Prime, the Council was in chaos. Leaders argued, debated, and panicked. Some wanted to surrender the extremists. Others wanted to fight. None had anticipated the humans' restraint and precision. Every counselor now understood a simple truth: underestimate humans, and the consequences would be severe. Daniel Brooks sent another message. The time for excuses has passed. The Council must act, or humanity will escalate. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Lisa Grant's voice followed. We do not seek revenge. We do not kill unnecessarily, but we will act to protect our own. Every child, every family, every human life is sacred. Remember that? The stars seemed to tremble as the human armada moved deeper into Council space. Every disabled fleet, every blocked communication, every precise strike was a statement. Humanity had awakened. Humanity had power. Humanity had restraint. And the galaxy was beginning to understand. The Thalnari extremists tried to flee, tried to regroup, tried to fight. Every attempt failed. The humans were always one step ahead, always precise, always controlled. The lesson was clear: no fleet, no weapon, no plan could challenge humanity without consequence. In the silence between battles, Ethan spoke quietly to his crew. Remember this moment. We are not just fighting ships. We are teaching the galaxy a lesson. Humanity is strong. Humanity is careful, and humanity does not forget. Maya Ross's voice came over the comm one last time for the day. All fleets disabled, civilian systems untouched. The message has been delivered. Humanity has acted. The Council will respond. Daniel Brooks and Lisa Grant watched from secure orbit above a Council world. Daniel placed a hand on Lisa's shoulder. Noah will be remembered, he said, and the galaxy will learn from his death. Not all lessons are easy, but they are necessary. Grace Turner activated the Armada's quiet patrol formation. Ships remained in space, visible and ready, but waiting. The humans had struck. They had shown precision and restraint. The next move was up to the Council. Across the galaxy, leaders whispered in fear and awe. Humanity had awakened an ancient power, a force that had been hidden for centuries. They could destroy entire fleets, they could control entire systems, but they had chosen restraint. And that restraint was more terrifying than any weapon. For the first time, the galaxy began to fear the human race, not because of what it could destroy, but because of what it would protect. The stars themselves seemed to watch, silent witnesses to a force that had been underestimated for too long. Humanity had shown the first signs of what it could do. The message was clear. Humanity would not forgive, and humanity would not stop. The galaxy had learned its first lesson. The human armada hovered silently above the edge of Thalnari space. Stars stretched endlessly around them, pale and distant, but the humans were not afraid. Every ship in formation moved like a single living being. Liberty Dawn, Atlas Horizon, and the smaller strike craft formed a pattern of strength and control. Humanity had sent its message. Now it waited for the Council to respond. Captain Ethan Clark walked along the bridge of Liberty Dawn. The hum of the engines filled the space around him. He looked at his crew, young men and women who had trained for this moment. "Stay ready," he said calmly. "We may have stopped the fleets, but the threat is not gone. Every move now is important." Commander Maya Ross's voice came over the comm. "All systems stable. Rogue Thalnari ships remain disabled. Civilian systems untouched. The Council is quiet for now." Ethan nodded. Silence can be dangerous. The Council had options. They could surrender or they could fight. Either way, humanity was prepared. Deep within Council space, Varath Kor, the Thalnari extremist leader, screamed orders at his remaining forces. "Attack! Do not let the humans control us. We will destroy them or die trying." But the humans had anticipated him. Every fleet, every ship, every system was controlled. Varath's orders were useless. Engines failed, weapons were disabled, and communications were cut. Panic spread quickly among his forces. Daniel Brooks sent another secure message to the Council chambers. His voice was calm, formal, but firm. "The Thalnari extremists have been captured or disabled. The child Noah Grant has died because of your negligence. Humanity demands justice. Surrender the extremists and allow a full human investigation. Refusal will force humanity to act further." Lisa Grant's voice followed. She spoke quietly, but everyone could hear the conviction in her tone. "We do not act out of hate. We do not destroy without reason, but we protect our own. Humanity will not allow another child to die because of your failures. Listen carefully, for this is the last warning before further action." Varath Kor grew frantic. "They cannot be human, they are monsters. They will destroy us all." But the humans were not monsters. They were disciplined, strategic, and precise. The ancient Armada had taught them patience, planning, and restraint. They could destroy entire fleets, but they chose not to. They would only act if forced. Captain Ethan Clark guided Liberty Dawn closer to the captured Thalnari ships. The disabled warships floated helplessly, their engines cold, their weapons offline. Ethan watched as his crew prepared boarding teams. The plan was simple: capture the leaders and disable the rest without unnecessary loss. Maya Ross coordinated the electronic systems from Atlas Horizon. "All boarding drones ready, disable protocols in place, civilian vessels untouched. We move when ready." Ethan looked at the stars and thought of Noah Grant. The boy's death had awakened humanity's hidden strength. Now every action was purposeful, precise, and measured. Humanity had power, and they would use it to protect life, not destroy it. The boarding drones launched silently, attaching to the Thalnari vessels. Systems were overridden, doors opened, and human teams entered. They moved with skill and speed, capturing the leaders without unnecessary violence. Every move was calculated, every step controlled. Across the galaxy, Council worlds watched in awe and fear. Humans had shown their ability to control entire fleets without unnecessary destruction. They had shown that they could punish without cruelty. They had shown intelligence, strategy, and restraint. Daniel Brooks addressed the Council directly through secure comms. The Thalnari extremists have been captured. The remaining fleet has been neutralized without civilian loss. Now it is time for the Council to act. Humanity demands justice, accountability, and reform. Fail and we will escalate further. Some counselors whispered to one another. They had underestimated humans. They had assumed weakness, inexperience, and naivety. Now they realized that humans were strong, disciplined, and unforgiving when their own were harmed. President Henry Cole spoke through secure comms to the Armada. We move not out of anger alone. We move to protect our own. Every fleet disabled, every system controlled is a lesson. Humanity remembers and humanity acts. Let the Council learn this lesson. Admiral Grace Turner watched the screens. The extremists have no power now. The Council must respond. We wait, but our patience is not infinite. Varath Kor, captured and restrained, glared at the humans. You think you can control the galaxy? You will pay. Ethan Clark stepped forward. You underestimated us. You killed a child. We did not act immediately. We gave you a chance. That chance is gone. Now humanity acts, but we do not kill unless necessary. Understand that. Maya Ross spoke from Atlas Horizon. Every fleet disabled. Every civilian safe. The lesson is clear. Humanity will protect its own, and the galaxy will respect that power. Across the Council chambers, arguments broke out. Some species called for surrender and compliance. Others argued for resistance. No one had expected humans to move so decisively, so carefully, and so effectively. Daniel Brooks sent another message. The Council has a choice: cooperate and reform, or continue as before and face consequences. Humanity's actions are measured. Do not mistake restraint for weakness. Lisa Grant's voice followed. My son is dead because the Council failed. We do not act out of hate. We act to protect life. Let this be a lesson to all species. Children are sacred. Families are sacred. Do not ignore us again. Some counselors, shaken and afraid, began negotiations. They realized the humans were not bluffing. They had power, intelligence, and precision. They had restraint, and that restraint was more terrifying than any weapon. The captured Thalnari extremists were escorted to secure vessels. The humans did not harm them unnecessarily. They were prisoners, witnesses, and lessons. The Council had to understand that mistakes with humans had consequences. Captain Ethan Clark watched the prisoners carefully. We do not kill the innocent. We show strength, but we do not destroy without reason. Remember that. Humanity is strong but humane. Maya Ross monitored communications across the Council systems. No fleet can oppose us. No signal escapes our control. Civilian systems remain untouched. The message is clear. Humanity acts with purpose, not rage. The galaxy began to change. Smaller species who had doubted humans now sought alliances. They saw discipline, restraint, and strength. They saw that humans would protect their own and would act with intelligence. Rumors spread quickly. Earth had power that no one had expected, and now it had awakened. Daniel Brooks spoke to the Council one last time. This is the final warning. The Thalnari extremists are in custody. The Council has a chance to reform. Fail, and humanity will take further action. This is not a threat. This is a promise. Respect life or face the consequences. President Henry Cole addressed the Armada. We wait, but our patience has limits. Humanity remembers, humanity protects, and humanity acts. The galaxy must understand this. Let no one forget the cost of ignoring us. Grace Turner activated patrol formation. The Armada remained visible, a reminder of strength and readiness. They had disabled fleets, captured leaders, and left civilians untouched. They had taught a lesson in discipline, strategy, and restraint. In the Council chambers, some species surrendered. Some offered to reform security protocols and cooperate with human investigations. Others remained silent, afraid to act. The message had been received. Humanity had power, intelligence, and patience. They also had limits. Ethan Clark looked out of the viewport at the stars. We have acted as we promised. We have protected life, disabled fleets, and captured those responsible. The lesson is clear. Humanity cannot be underestimated. Maya Ross nodded. We have shown restraint, but we are ready to act again if necessary. The Council will think carefully before testing us again. Daniel Brooks and Lisa Grant watched from secure orbit. Daniel placed a hand on Lisa's shoulder. "Noah will be remembered," he said quietly. "His life was lost, but his death has changed the galaxy. Humanity will protect its own. The universe must respect that." Grace Turner spoke to the fleet. "We hold position. The Council will respond. The galaxy will learn that humans act with purpose, precision, and restraint. We do not forget, and we do not forgive those who harm our own." Across the galaxy, whispers became discussions, and discussions became policy changes. The Council realized that humanity was no longer a minor species. Humanity had power, intelligence, and the will to act. They had shown restraint, and that restraint was more terrifying than any weapon. Varath Kor, restrained and powerless, glared at the humans. You may have won today, but humanity cannot control everything. You will face consequences." Ethan Clark shook his head. "We do not control, we protect. Remember that. Humanity protects life, and that is what makes us strong. You failed to understand that. Do not repeat your mistakes." Lisa Grant placed Noah's small metal star at the base of a memorial orbiting Orion Prime. "This is for you, my son. You will be remembered, and the galaxy will know that your life mattered." Daniel Brooks stood beside her. "The Council will act now. They have no choice. Humanity has shown restraint, but also power. They must learn to respect us." Grace Turner activated the quiet systems of the Armada. The ships remained visible, a silent warning but not aggressive. Humanity had acted decisively, carefully, and humanely. The galaxy had learned a lesson. President Henry Cole addressed Earth. "We have acted for justice. We have protected life. The Council has learned our strength. Humanity will continue to grow, explore, and protect. Let the universe remember this day." Captain Ethan Clark looked out at the stars. "We have done what was necessary. We have shown strength and restraint. Humanity is no longer to be underestimated." Maya Ross smiled. "The lesson has been delivered. The galaxy knows that we will protect our own and that we act with intelligence and care. Let no one forget that." The stars were silent witnesses to humanity's awakening. The Armada had moved, precision had been shown, fleets had been disabled, and leaders captured. Yet no civilian was harmed. Humanity had proven its strength, discipline, and intelligence. The galaxy had learned. Humanity had acted. Justice had been delivered. And for the first time, every species understood. Humanity does not forgive when its own are harmed. Humanity does not forget. The lesson was clear, and it would last for centuries.